Hello, Joe.
Hello, hello.
Welcome. So, I'd like to find out more about Joe Bendle and what Joe actually does.
Exciting.
So do tell us.
Okay, so I'm actually a productivity coach. I work with women in business who are tired of being held back by perfectionism and procrastination and inaction. And I work with them to give them tools and support to like ditch overwhelm and then allow them to like focus and finally create that freedom that they originally set out to create when they started their business. And I think one of the things that is far too common, unfortunately, is that no one naturally starts a business to work harder and to earn less, and it's the reality of a lot of people. So it's my mission to change that, basically, with the way that I do it. And my audience is all over the world. I get to hang out with amazing women talking about all my favorite things. So yeah, that's me.
Brilliant. So that's your superpower.
Yeah.
Love it. No, actually helping women was what I meant by your superpower.
Yeah.
You want to have talking as your superpower, it's fine. So tell us something about Joe that we might not know.
I think probably the best thing to share there is that I'm a productivity coach, but I am not the most productive person I know. Okay. And what I mean by that is that we don't have to be, I often try and say to people, even if you just increase it and focus on this like a 10% more than you're currently doing, it's going to have such a massive impact. So I am somebody that resists structure and craves freedom, and so it's very, it's maybe not the typical person that you think of as a productivity coach, but that's because like finding a roadmap that allows me to still have that level of flexibility but still show up for my goals and my dreams and my desires. So I think just basically I'm not the most productive person I know, and I'm a productivity coach. Is that okay?
Brilliant. So how did your professional journey start? So how have you ended up being a productivity coach?
I think it's been quite a journey, and now when I look back on it, it makes complete sense. But obviously when we're at the start, we can't see it and we haven't got the clarity. So I actually, over 20 years ago now, I started being like a personal assistant, and I worked in London and really supported sort of CEOs and directors of big companies, and was an executive assistant and really did that. That was like my career. I moved around lots of different things, and then eventually started my own business as a virtual assistant. So then I was really supporting entrepreneurs, and the whole time I was able to, I was immersing myself with people that are very, very successful. And at that time, I had no idea. I didn't know anything about the online underworld that I've kind of fallen into now. But so it was interesting to see just how they show up, and really seriously, like how their daily habits. And you can really clearly see why they are successful. And it's evolved from there, that I ended up about 4 years ago transitioning into being a productivity coach, and really helping people with the struggles that I'd had. Like I was like, I know what I should be doing, but I'm not doing it. And so finding a way to be able to go like, this is my big juicy dream and I am not showing up for it. What can change, and like just like step by step finding like this beautiful process that has allowed me to achieve the things that I achieve some really big dreams of mine. And so supporting other people to do that is it's really, really fulfilling role.
No, it's good. And you have on your website that you actually help women get out of their own way. So do you think we are our own worst enemies?
I definitely do, and I say that from complete and utter insider knowledge of my own journey. There's a quote that I talk about on one of my. I was just doing a webinar, so I've got one of the slides in my head, and it was like, you're far too smart to be the only thing standing in your own way, but we are the thing that's standing in our own way. So part of the work that I do is there's this really practical side of taking action and getting rid of what's not serving us, but also there's something what I call productivity blocks. And this is about getting in your own way. It's like perfectionism, procrastination, bright shiny objects, like why are they so fascinating, self-doubt, and I think that those 4 things are the way that we keep ourselves safe. You know, our minds are so sophisticated, they kind of will tell us something and we'll believe it, but ultimately it's keeping us safe from stepping outside the comfort zone and doing something that feels really uncomfortable, but that potentially will lead to bigger, amazing results. And that is quite fearful. So that's why I talk about, that's what I mean by like we get in our own way, and we need to really bring both these sides of like this practical side of being able to take action and get through the never ending to do's, but this feminine side of like what's really going on. So yeah, it's so I generally say that I work with women in business, but I do also work with men as well, but honestly they don't suffer the same way as we do. You know, like a lot of men will have an action list and they'll do it, whereas we will go, I'm just going to circle around that because that's what that's about. It's so juicy.
Yeah, the thumb scrolling on Facebook.
Yes,
that's where we need to be writing something. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what would you say were your personal roadblocks, and how have you dealt with them?
Oh, my biggest roadblock, without a doubt, is self-doubt, and has been self-doubt like for the whole of my journey, which is why I feel like I'm really qualified to say, you know, the stuff that I talk about, and I share it. You know, I share with my clients that, you know, I still suffer, I still struggle with it. Sometimes I've got a lot of things in my toolkit now that really help me, but I still fall off the wagon and get stuck in the self-doubt. But I've got different things that help me, and there are lots of different mindset strategies that can just keep you, that can help us. But the reality is, it isn't something that just disappears. It's probably going to be with me the whole time. It's just that when I fall off the wagon, or when the self-doubt really hits me hard, instead of it writing me off for weeks or months, it now writes me off for days. Only days, or even a day, because I've got these I've actually got these foundational habits that allow me to get back on again. You know, and it can be just it's consistency. Like we're going to constantly need to journal, or like really look at the stories that our mind is telling us and things like that. And so I think that's just that I know that that's got to be part of my non-negotiables, because this is something that can come up and wipe me out. And so it's definitely the biggest thing, but I'm grateful for it as well, because it means that I can really understand what the struggles are that my clients face.
Yeah, and I think the way, because I'm in one of your groups, I think the way that you come across is that you're very authentic, so women can relate to you far more than, you know, if it's just somebody saying, I've earned 5 million this year, and all that sort of stuff that just,
and it's so important to me. Like so many times people reach out and say, oh my gosh, like you know, because I'm really open and honest about the struggles, and that they're like, oh, you came across as a real person. People need to know that, and also because of the way the world, I mean, like the world we live in now is so you know, like it's so fake, and I get really cross, because I'm always saying to my people, like, be careful who you're inspired by, because that is not reality. I guarantee that's not reality. So somebody might be saying, I've earned X, Y, Z, but like, you don't know how much debt they're in because of that, or, you know, whatever the story is. But it's just like, be careful what you're inspired by. And that's why I really like to keep it really real, and be like, you know what, I'm totally I'm work in progress as well. And that's the fun of it, you know. That's part of the journey. This is the journey. We're all going to be work in progress, ongoing. It's just that I think there's the new level, new devil. In fact, sometimes it's new level, same devil that's come back up.
So who or what is your main source of inspiration?
Okay, so I think that's changed over the time. So I remember, like, when I first started my business, like my motivation, or my mission for myself, was to be able to run a business that I could create a business that I could run from anywhere in the world. And when I did that, and that was my big driving force. But when I did that, when I'd already done that, I was like, oh, well, what's my motivation now? So let me go back. So I was inspired then by people that were already doing that. So really being inspired by the people that are living the life that I want to live, which is really about create the thriving business, but have the life, like the business and the life. So one of the people that really inspired me was Natalie Sisson, and she really lived that life, and amazingly, again, like really shared how she did it. And I worked with her right probably 5 years ago, because it was just like, that's what I wanted. And now less inspired by people and more inspired by my own goals and desires of like the life that I want to lead. And I'm, like constantly refining it, because obviously as I grow, and I realize, like just even on a daily basis, the things that the thoughts that I want to have, and the way that I want to show up, what habits, and like all of the package. So really inspired by where I can take, like my life to live that really big, juicy life.
Yeah. I mean, to have a person that's inspirational in today's age is really easy, but also it's easy to connect with them.
Yeah.
Like Natalie's great, because I connected with her a few years ago on Twitter, and she was just, she just connects with you, and you can start conversations with her. So I'd encourage any of the women that are listening to, if you've got somebody that you want that is an inspiration to you, just reach out to them, and
definitely,
and I'm sure they'll reciprocate.
I think so, because we really want to help. Like, people want to help. Like, we all want you to live the life that you want to create, and that it's possible, and that we can't do it on our own. Like, we do need to have people showing us that are a few steps ahead of us of like what's possible. I remember it was literally 5 years ago, and I was like transitioning my business. I didn't realize that this whole, what I call it, the online underworld, I did not know it existed. Then when I jumped into it, it was like, what? And it's like, this is amazing, because it did allow me to be able to completely, be completely nomadic. Whereas I just hadn't realized it all existed. And like now it's so overcrowded and so noisy and quite fake at times. It's like really being careful about like who you do choose to be inspired by.
Yeah. The online underworld sounds slightly naughty.
I know.
Everyone's going to be going, how do I get in there? Because it sounds great. So now you've changed your life again slightly, because you've actually settled. I don't like to say that too much, because maybe you haven't settled, but you've actually moved to Malaga.
Yes.
So tell us what difference that's actually made to you to start putting down roots and having a home. And
well, I have to say, it has been insane comfort zone blasting stuff for me, which I did not expect. So the context is that the background is that I spent 3 years completely location independent, living out of a suitcase, traveling the world, growing my business. And I didn't, I always knew that at some stage, I didn't know how long it would take, that I'd really want to get a base again. And I have to just tell you this story. So I was in Canada, and I was visiting a friend, and I walked into her. She's got like this 1-bedroom apartment in Toronto, and I was going to stay over. And I walked into her house, and I saw this bookshelf with books on it, and I was like, oh, I really want shelves. And we just looked at each other, and we're like, you're ready for a home. And then my friend was like, desires never show up that clearly. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so then I was like, oh, I wonder where in the world the home will be. And, anyway, it's fast forward. It's ended up in Spain, Malaga. And so I moved here, I don't know, it was like about 8 months ago. And I expected it to be really easy, because I'm used to change. Like, my whole life is really about like to change. And so I was like, yeah, this is fine. But it brought up so much stuff that I really wasn't expecting. So I then had to go through a whole process of like really like clearing, like lots of I'm not good enough stuff came up. And this was all around, well, the last time I had a home and did normal, I got bored, it didn't work. I was in a relationship, we separated. So it brought up all this stuff, which was just, I was like, whoa, didn't expect it. But the other side of it is, one of the reasons that I really wanted to get to settle and have this base again was to create an offline community of people. Like, we are, as humans, we need connection. And I have a really vast online community. But, that doesn't really always fulfill what we need. So it was about making friends, like having a group of girls to go and have lunch with and like simple things that people take for granted that wasn't massively in my life. I was like, yeah, I want that. And also really taking away taking away a lot of the excuses around I can only grow my business so far because I'm always traveling. I can't create a group of friends or meet a partner because I'm always transient. And so taking all that away and being like, the next part of like my adventure and what I want to create is this connection and meeting these people, and then seeing what I'm capable of with my health and my business when I'm not constantly distracted by always moving. And it's really fascinating. So first up, 6 months of like full on, oh my goodness, this is tough. And now it's all happening, and I've got these wonderful friends. And you obviously, Costa Women has been an amazing thing for me because it's introduced me to lots of people here. And then somebody knows somebody, and then you find your crew, and I realize it's happening, like the dreams and the desires and the things that I really visualized for having a home. Because I still travel, for different things and for work and things. But coming back and being like, I've had this home it's pretty special. Yeah. And I'm excited for what that's going to bring next. Yeah.
So would you say moving was your bright shiny thing then, moving around?
Yeah, I think so. It was also a process, a thing that I needed to do. I mean, because I was just like unhappy, unfulfilled, but then I realized that this is the random ironic thing about how our minds work, is that I was in Costa Rica and I was sitting looking out over this beautiful, stunning view, thinking about my business. I work with the most amazing women. Why am I unfulfilled? And so then that all sparked this thing of like, I'd outgrown my goals, I'd outgrown my dreams, and what was next. And then it was the house, and then it's not as simple as that. And to know that, I can give myself what I want, but it's also, it's been fascinating to watch, because I'm also very self-aware. So I was watching it in frustration of like, what is going on? And I got, it was like I went back 4 years in personal development.
Right.
But so yes, there was definitely an element of that being the bright shiny.
Yeah.
Okay. It's easy.
Yeah. So a quick fire round. Favorite quote and why? And I know that's going to be tough for you because you love your quotes.
I'm like the quote girl. I love quotes. It's like, which one should we go for? I think for me it's like that. People do not decide their futures; they decide their habits, and their habits create their future. And like the reason that I love, when I first read that, I was like, I always say to people, do that twice. People do not create their futures; they create their habits. Their habits create their future. It's like, OMG, that is powerful. And that blew my mind when I really, really sort of dropped into what that meant, and was like, are my daily habits going to create the future that I desire? No, probably not. And so I still really, I still always come back, default to that as one of my favorite quotes, because it says it all. It's so powerful. Our habits create our future, and we get the choice. We get to choose what our habits are.
Yeah. Actually, my favorite Joe Bendle quote is the one, I'm probably not quoting it 100% correctly, but if you don't have time to write down your goals, how are you ever going to have time to achieve them?
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I think I remember when I was going through your planner, and I was like, that's a good quote. Oh, it's Joe Bendle's.
That's me. But it's the same surname as me.
But it's so true. Like, we do get to choose. Like, I mean, like, habits is a whole big meaty thing, but ultimately, like, we've created bad habits, we can create good habits, and we also can choose, like, how badly do I want this?
Yeah.
Like, how much does it mean to me? Because I think that I spent a long time before I went off traveling and being nomadic, going like, that's something I'd really like, but where I was not painful enough to make me do the big step. But then when you get unfulfilled enough, or whatever it is for you, the discomfort of staying where you are is more uncomfortable than actually taking the leap, which is scary. And I think that's the stage. When you get to that stage, you'll do it. Yeah,
that's a great quote. One app that you can't live without?
it's got to be Asana. Okay. I know I'm like, I don't, like, it's just, Asana is like a project management tool, and I use it to manage my business. I use it to manage my life. It is, it's what keeps me calm. It's like when I said, if I drop off the wagon, like last week I was really, really sick and I was written off for the whole week. But instead of me having, being too anxious about what does that mean, I was like, I'm so supported by my systems. I can, like, that going into Asana is like, yeah, okay, it supports me. And I think that's why I really love what I teach, is that we fall off the wagon, life happens, we get busy, but our systems and the foundational strategies are what absolutely support us when life gets like that. So definitely Asana. Yeah.
Okay, good. During 2019, I will, so it could be give up, start doing, or both. What is it?
I will learn Spanish. Yeah, that's got to be my goal. I was like going back to that whole, the transitioning of being a homeowner and stuff. Like, I really wanted to learn Spanish, but I did not have the headspace for it. So 2019 is, okay, I'm ready. It's all about learning Spanish. I'm going to live here. I need to embrace it. Yep.
Yeah, cool. And what book most inspired you in 2018?
I think that for me, because of like where I was with my mindset and stuff, it's a book that I'd read before, but Playing Big by Tara Moore. And that is a really great book for somebody that whose mind is very vocal in a negative way. Right. And so it's really, really good for the mindset stuff of like, we've got these voices. There is a voice that coaches us to be productive or successful, and there's one also that wants to keep us safe and is like, you don't look very nice today. And so that was some of the tools in there are just literally life-changing.
Okay, good, thank you. Well, we'll put all the links to the things you've shared below, but also you've got a course coming up, so tell us a bit more about the course you've got.
Yes, so this is my signature program where I basically put my 4-step process into this beautiful system to allow others to create that freedom. And it's called Purposefully Productive, because my goal in life is not to help you be really productive on the wrong things. So we really get very, very deep around what is it that's going to fulfill you. And most people don't know what they want. So really exploring what they really want. And then getting clear about like voicing our secret dreams and being like, okay. And then moving through like, how do we plan that and make that happen, to the daily productivity, and then like the reviewing. So like a 4-step process for actually the system, the roadmap that supports me to do what I want to do. And yeah, so that is available. And I multiple times a year I run it live. And that's really the only way to work with me now, unless you want to do like one-on-one mentoring or retreats or anything. It's like, this is where you come and you learn the transformational foundation. Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, we'll put a link to the course below as well on the video. And it's been a great pleasure speaking to you as ever.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you very soon in Malaga.
Yes.
And catching up with you probably online in your Facebook group.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the opportunity to chat today.
It's been great, Jo. Thank you. Bye.